Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Talking Simple. And today we will talk about the latest buzzword, which is a metaverse. So I have a pretty lot of questions in my mind, and I think Shivesh will help us clarify our thoughts on metaverse. So hello Shivesh, are you ready for the discussion?
Yes, absolutely.
So let us get it started. So first of all, please help us explain what is metaverse and in very layman terms. Yeah.
Okay. So metaverse is basically a concept of virtual world. And to understand metaverse exactly, we need to first understand what virtual reality is. So some people might be familiar with virtual reality, but I guess a lot of people will not be familiar with it. So let me first explain what virtual reality is. So imagine that you are in a classroom and a teacher is teaching you, and there are students all around us. So you can imagine that, right? But now let's say that. I'll tell you that you do not have to imagine that, but I can make you feel that you are sitting in a classroom and someone is teaching you, and there are students all around us in your home itself. So I can make you feel like that, and there exists technology to do this, and this we can do that using a VR headset. So that's basically the concept of virtual reality, where you will wear a simple device, VR headset, and that will take you to a virtual world which does not exist in reality. It will only exist in a computer, but you can just feel the world. Like you will actually experience like someone is teaching you. So something like when we are doing a video call, right? So what we feel is that the person is right in front of us. The sensation is not very real here because it's just a small screen. Like we do it in a very small phone screen, so we know that's not real. But what if I can make an environment where everything is in front of us, like you can see it, you can feel it. So that's what virtual reality is. So, and it's used a lot in gaming and stuff. So like when people do gaming, like if you have seen movies like Ravan or movies like Robot, we do see something like virtual reality in that. So in Ravan we had the virtual reality game, and in Robot we had this a person coming to us talking using a hologram. So that's the concept of virtual reality. Now what metaverse is a completed extended version of virtual reality. So metaverse is like we have a virtual universe. So it's like virtual universe, and it's like when multiple people can come together and interact in that. So what in virtual reality currently what happens is that, okay, I'll go to a different virtual world and just play a game there. So I'm playing a game where I'm the only real character, and all the others are some virtual characters, or everything is virtual. So I cannot take anything else into the virtual world along with me. But in metaverse, what basically we should be able to do when it's there is like multiple people can come together in the same virtual world and interact. So like right now we are doing this meeting over a video call. Then what we can do is we can go together, we both can go to that virtual world, and we can talk and interact with each other in a way that we are actually in a meeting room in a 3D world. So we'll be able to, so like the sound will come in one particular direction. So I'll be able to hear that sound coming from wherever you are walking, or maybe I will also be able to feel the stuff. Like I'll be able to feel the table and the chair. So I'll have to wear some kind of a suit which will give me that sensation that I'm sitting on a chair. Maybe I'm just there, like in the actual world I'm there in my bed, but in the virtual world if I'm sitting, so I'll have that sensation. So that's what metaverse is, and it's like a much more broader concept in that, because like what at least Facebook or Meta is trying to do is like make a complete universe of it, so that like there will be everything. So you can even set up a virtual home there. So suppose you're getting bored in your actual world, you can go to that virtual world, and maybe you just want to play, you want to watch a movie, so you do not have a TV in your real home. So what you can do is you can just go to that virtual home in the metaverse, and you there will be a screen playing there. So you will have that sensation that even though you do not have a TV in your real home, you will have sensation that you're actually watching that watching the movie in a TV in the virtual world. So that's what metaverse is. It's like basically taking you to a virtual world where people can interact, have meetings or anything like that.
Yeah, so far so cool. And with examples like Ravan and all you have given, and of the students sitting in classroom, which makes it pretty clear that it is something which will add value definitely. And my second question, my second doubt basically is why do we need metaverse at all? Is there any urgent
Okay.
need for it, or we can do without it also?
Okay. So yeah, currently, if you see the current situation, like it's COVID times, right? So people cannot meet personally. So metaverse is a very good experience in that sense. uh, Virtual reality has a lot of applications in that sense. So like it's used many times for training. So suppose we want to, so while we are training doctors for surgery, okay, we cannot do it, like it's very difficult to let every doctor operate on a real human body. But what we can do is we can take that doctor to a virtual world in which there will be a virtual human body, and the doctor can try his experiments on that. So that's possible. So, and apart from that, virtual reality is also used for training programs like in manufacturing. So you can just, if you want to train a worker who is working in a factory to use some tools, instead of giving him the actual tool, you can just take him to the virtual world, and you can try to train him using the virtual machine which is there in that virtual world. So all that applications are there. Metaverse will have a much extended version of that. So maybe if you say, yeah, the need is there, like people will definitely find much more needs when it's actually there, because like when something is there, people will try to find out more applications of it. But currently all of the applications which are possible using virtual reality, they can be extended to the metaverse. And also like it will give a much more realistic experience, because currently, like in, as I said, in virtual reality, it's like just most of the time it's just one person going to the virtual world, and like the experience is not realistic. Like you cannot take stuff from the real world to the virtual world. It's very difficult. It's like there are some preset environments in the virtual reality games, but in metaverse it will be completely different. You can just define your own world, you can make your own virtual world, and uh, the interaction will be much more realistic in that. So that's why we definitely need it.
Yeah, okay. I think it will make a lot of things much easier and much more interesting too. So coming to my next
Yeah.
doubt is how much accessible will it be for the common man, or is it something which will be reserved for the rich class, or it can be affordable, it can be afforded by a majority of the public?
So that will depend on the regulations which are there. Like first of all, is the software or is the metaverse free by Facebook or whichever company is making that? So it depends. It will depend on that. But apart from that, we'll definitely need some device. So like if you see for video conferencing, you definitely need a mobile phone or a laptop and a camera, right? So something like that will definitely be required, and it will be initially, at least we do expect that it will be costly. So probably it will just be accessible to the maybe the rich or the middle class. Maybe the poor cannot access it in the very beginning, but I think like as technology improves, and like the devices should be much more inexpensive, because as we saw, like initially the mobiles are so expensive, but over time like we are getting very cheap mobiles. So the technology will definitely improve, and it should be accessible to a lot of people, like how internet is now accessible to a lot more people than it was there before.
Yeah, so there is definitely some hope in the future that things will get affordable, and a lot of us can definitely afford it. Yeah, so that's a good news.
Yeah.
And so whichever companies are putting their stake, like Microsoft and Facebook are putting their investment in metaverse, what are the basic problems or hindrances they are facing, which they've reported or they might face in the development of this metaverse?
The first thing is we do not have a technology which can do this currently. Like they are just working on it right now, because first of all, creating something like a metaverse which is so huge, like we need a lot of compute first of all. Like it's the compute which we have currently, it's not possible with that. So like basically rendering 3D environments, right? So like even if you see, like if we do a video call currently, there are problems like the bandwidth is not very good, so there's some like flickering in between, so the video gets blurred. So if you want to make a metaverse which will just send information in 3D, then it's very difficult. Like with the advent of 5G, I think it will be much better, but yeah, it will take a long amount of time to actually just transfer information from one place to another. because everything will happening virtually over internet, so it will definitely be a problem. Apart from that, like the virtual, like just creating a interface in which a person can create his own home or make it something personalized for him, it's difficult right now. More problems are like who will regulate this. So if you're creating something, a virtual world in itself where people can come, so who will regulate this? So maybe there can be some government regulations also, like they need to limit this, and there will be obviously concerns of privacy. So currently if we meet, so if you come to my home, we have privacy because like we know that no one else can actually enter the home. But what about a virtual meeting? How do we know that it's not getting hacked? How do we know that no one else is hearing what we are talking in our virtual room? So all those concerns will definitely be there. There will be concerns of privacy, of security, and it can also be misused a lot to spread misinformation, which already Facebook is trying hard to overcome this problem. Like, but like there's a lot of misinformation which is spread through Facebook itself. But now if you imagine that someone can just try to spread hate speech by coming to a virtual world in which people will have realistic experience, so they are actually able to hear that leader give a hate speech, so that experience will be much more real for him. But that's something wrong, right? So that will cause problems for whatever company is coming, because that will be used to spread misinformation. So all these problems will definitely be there, and we need to actually overcome this before we allow metaverse to exist.
So basically, what I made up from this point is that we have problems of technology because metaverse is something altogether a different game, and we have
Yeah,
problems of who will regulate it, regulation problems, and we have a
yeah,
broader problem of morality, like how will the public will
yeah,
use it for their greater good,
yeah. Like
or some will use.
the same thing which are there currently with Facebook, the same problems, a much larger version of that will transfer to metaverse if it's not regulated initially from the beginning itself.
Yeah, it can be put to more bad use than for good use. So yeah,
Yeah.
got it. So what are the who are the major contenders who have actually put their stake in this in developing this metaverse?
Okay, so currently Facebook is the main company which is actually trying to do this, but it's like Facebook cannot do it alone. They have admitted that they cannot do it alone. So they definitely need more different companies to come together. So there are companies like Nvidia, which is also working together with Facebook right now. But Facebook is, I think, the only major company who has put forward its vision as metaverse. So like maybe other companies are working on metaverse, but like that might be a small project for them, or maybe not a long-term project for them. But Facebook has put all its stake on metaverse, and like, that's what. So like if in 10 or 20 years, maybe if Facebook is unable to do that, then people will actually question that. But like, there's no other company which we can question right now, because no other company has just put forward their vision as metaverse. Metaverse is currently only like only the Facebook is the only big company of, not Facebook exactly. Meta is the only big company which has put forward as metaverse as its vision. But yeah, there are other companies which are working together with Facebook. Even Microsoft was working on virtual reality. But like metaverse, I think currently the biggest vision is of Facebook only. No other company is working it as a very big project on that.
Yeah, so I think eventually they will get the support as far as they go further in this road. Microsoft and other tech companies will join it to give them the support,
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
this can make it
definitely
possible.
more companies will be coming. And like I definitely think that Facebook will also need the support of different companies, and like maybe like the computer graphics companies, the even the gaming companies are actually coming in. So like because the gaming companies, the companies which make games, they have a lot of access to this 3D virtual reality worlds and stuff. So they will definitely be coming in.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for the gaming company also.
Yeah.
And so to end the discussion, Shivesh, I have one last question for you: that when can we expect the Meta to go live, or what is the targeted period set by the Meta or Facebook?
uh I do not know exactly when it can we can expect it to be real. Okay, so like currently also there exists some kind of beta version of a metaverse. So they have a very small, this is called Horizon. So like Facebook, I think it launched it sometime back, that they have a horizon, like there's a virtual world where people can actually come and interact, but like that's on a very small scale with only Facebook regulating it, and like there's a beta version of that. So at least personally, I do not expect metaverse to be a real world thing at least for 5 years. There's some minimum bound which I'm putting on it, but it can extend to maybe 10 years or 20 years also. But currently, at least for 5 years, we should not think that the metaverse which Facebook envisions right now, it will probably not be available within 5 years. It will be much like it can take more than that as well, but at least for 5 years, I don't think it will be possible.
Yeah, so it's common for great things to take time. So I think everybody will lend their support, and yes, we can see it in the near future or so. So thank you, Shivesh. You have resolved all my queries in a very clear manner, and I think all the viewers of our channel, whoever is watching this video, they have got a pretty fair idea about what the buzz is around metaverse. And so thank you so much for your beautiful research. And to all our viewers, if you want us to create more such content, please do like, share, and subscribe this channel. And whatever you want to get some ideas on any particular topic, if you have any ideas in your mind, you can drop it down on the comment section, and we will definitely try to create a video on it very soon. So thank you and bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.